Hello and welcome again to the second episode of Word of Life Lutheran Church, The Narrow Path. We had the men's prayer breakfast this morning. It was a great prayer time. About 10 guys got together, and so I lassoed a few. Larry Cooper, George Rebling, and Everett Smithberg. And these gentlemen are some of the elders from our congregation, and we just thought we'd talk today a little bit about how the church came to be. We're not even a year old yet. February 16th or so is when we celebrate our one-year anniversary, and so many miraculous things happened as we decided to plant a church in Fairfield and to grow the church, and the building came along. I just thought I'd let them guys tell the story. Larry, tell me, when did you guys decide to start the church?
It was in February, and we decided that we were going to try to start a new church. We went out to the library and we met for a few weeks, and then we started looking for a building. Well, Fairfield is not that big of a city, but we had a hard time trying to find a building, and we were looking for a church to begin with. There was one along Highway 34, and one Sunday we all went out there and we started walking around and looking at it. And we got inside, but we realized that it would only hold about 75, 80 people. And of course we wanted the church to grow. And so we kept that in the back of our mind. Then we looked at a couple other pole buildings. But it would have been a massive building project on that. I mean, we would have to put in the whole church interior, really, the pews and bathrooms and everything. So we kind of settled on a one pole building. It used to be called the Catfish House. And then it was made into kind of a little Christian school, and we had kind of our mind set on that for a while, but like I said, it still would have needed a lot of restructuring and stuff for it to be a church. And then a lot of us were still thinking about, boy, what else could we do? And I don't know, one day I was just driving around, and I drove by Libertyville Road here, and this used to be a Christian church school, and I hadn't really ever noticed anybody driving in or out for quite a while, and I just kind of pulled in the driveway here and got outside and started looking through the windows, and I thought, well, boy, this is a church in here, and all the pews and everything were in here, and of course there wasn't anybody here. Well, then about that time, a guy pulled up in a pickup. And, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I said I was just looking to see if what was inside this building. And he introduced himself. He said, well, my name is Pastor Higdon, and this is the Assembly of God Church. And I said, well, I haven't seen anybody around here. And he said that their membership had dwindled down quite a bit. People were leaving because of their jobs and everything. And I just asked him, I said, well, would it be possible to rent this? And he thought for a while, and he said, well, it is possible. And he had Pastor Steve had a service business, and the back half of this, where the gymnasium and everything is at right now, it was all full of his supplies. He had a service master business, and that was all full of supplies. And he said that he would like to keep this as a church, And he kind of prayerfully thought it over for a few days and said that, I would really like it to remain a church also. And so then we just had a meeting, and we decided that if he would let us rent the building, well, we'd rent this for a while. And so that's how we originally got here, but his intention was that he would maybe rent it out for a few months, but then he would, if he decided that he actually wanted to have it all, or he would consider selling it all. And so that's kind of what got us in here. And I'll never forget when, because we had been meeting in the library and stuff, and in some of these other buildings. And then when they came in there, when we decided we were going to have church here that first Sunday, it was just nice just to sit back and watch the people come in. They were just, I can't believe it, such a beautiful place like that. And anyway, that was the start of it. And then we decided that after a few months, we would like to buy it. And of course, then comes the thing about terms and prices, and boy, can we do this or not? And but as it was, we were able to do it. And it's been a godsend for all of us, and we're just all so pleased the way everything has worked out. We're so pleased that Pastor Strickler, we got a hold of Jamie and Zanny. They had a need for a church, and we had a need for a minister, and it's just been a perfect fit. And we are so blessed to have them, and this church just seems to be growing, and we're just all thankful for what that we've decided to start a new church.
What a thankful and loving servant's heart that we have here at Word of Life. We previously worked at Bethel Rescue Mission, Hope Ministries Bethel Rescue Mission in Des Moines as a chaplain. It's a men's shelter downtown Des Moines with about 100 beds. And I had gotten into the homeless ministry, and it's just near and dear to my heart. And I still visit quite a bit with the homeless guys and keep in contact with them and help them any way that I can. George, you had helped me deliver some sleeping bags in Des Moines one day, and tell me a little bit about your experience with the homeless in Des Moines.
Well, that was something different. You don't very often run into this kind of a situation. And when we first got there, we went down along the river. I think it was the Raccoon River. I was up on the levee, and they had camps there all summer. And we went to the first one. They had moved out, and I could see why. It was pretty cold down there. And then we went to another one, and we saw where there had been a few left there, but there wasn't nobody home at the time. And when I first went there, I wondered, well, how are we going to knock on the door? All there was a tent. Pretty hard to knock on a tent, but the way you do that is you scratch on it and holler real loud, and if nobody comes out, well, you go on. You don't, there's nobody home. You can look in this tent flap, that's their windows, and see if there's anybody home, and we didn't find anybody. And so then we went on several different places down along the levee. Finally, we did find one that looked like it was very much occupied. There was footprints in the snow and everything, so we thought, well, we'll go there, and it was very well camouflaged. And they really didn't want everybody even know it was there. I don't think they wanted anybody in Des Moines, because they'd come down and burn them out. They'd burn them out one time, and that's the way they try to get rid of them, but all they do is just move them on someplace else. And then we went to the cafeteria where Jamie, the building where he worked, and we ate dinner with him. And, well, first, we picked up a fella that was there in town. We met him in a little park, and he got in with us, and we took him over to Walmart and bought him a pair of shoes and a few little things. let's see, I guess it was socks and gloves, and he didn't want nothing else that he had to carry, because all he had was just a very little handbag, and all of his possessions was in that. So he didn't want any extra baggage. And so we bought him what he needed, went down, and then we ate dinner there, where I was telling you about, at the cafeteria. And that was, well, it was for homeless, all right. They don't give them any first-class stuff, and you could see that. But we ate what little we needed. And then we left and looked around some more places. Went into this apartment where this fellow lived that had diabetes, and he was blind. And, well, there was a woman living with him, I guess.
It's his
I
wife.
don't know what you call, girlfriend or
No,
what?
they're married.
Okay.
Yeah, they're married. Really.
And they was there, and it was, well, not just exactly a first-class place. We sat down where we could find a place and talked to him, and he's very interesting. And we talked for a while, and he was the guy, actually, that gave us the information. Jamie had talked to him and knew him before, so he was the guy that really led us into where they was at, and the rest of the homeless, and where they lived. And he is making up a map now, I've been told, that he's going to have it drawn out on the map where their new campsites are at, and I'm sure not everybody's going to get a look at that, but he's going to send Jamie a copy of it. But they don't want, I'm sure, none of the city folks in Des Moines to even begin to see it, because, you know, they would have a hotline into where they're going to be camped this coming year. But we're going back as soon as it warms up a little bit and look it over again. Oh, we saw a lot of stuff, but that's the main things that we saw at that day.
Now, Everett, your family has a wide history of planting churches here in the Fairfield area. Your family, your ancestors planted a Lutheran church and a Methodist church here, isn't that right?
Right. That was out north of Lockridge, 4 miles, at New Sweden. The New Sweden Lutheran church started in 1848. When they first came, about that time, my great-grandfather was a charter member of that church. And then Peter Castle decided that from a meeting that Methodists came out there and had, that they would start a Methodist church, and it was just down the road a quarter of a mile. They started a Methodist church about 10 years or so later. So in the first place, there was about 600 people going to that Lutheran church, and they kept branching off. They branched off to Salina and started a church there, branched off to Upland and started one over south of Lockridge, and then another one at Salina. So they kept branching off there. And my great-grandfather was a charter member at the New Sweden Lutheran Church, and then he went with the group that went to the Methodist Church. So I wound up starting out in my church was the Methodist Church, and during the Depression they had to close it because they didn't have enough money to keep it going. So then I lived right across the road from the New Sweden Lutheran Church, and I dropped over there and started going there. So then that's how I got started with the Lutheran Church. And got married there, and I'll be buried there.
Quite the family of church planters. Everett is the grandfather of a large family that attends our congregation. Dennis and Carolyn are Dennis is Everett's son, and they have 8 adult children and 27 grandchildren. Is that right? 17 grandchildren.
26 great-grandchildren.
26 great-grandchildren.
And 2 great-great-grandchildren.
2 great-great-grandchildren. So the Smithbergs are not only great church planters in this area, they make up a majority of our congregation. Larry, tell me about your experience of going to the leadership gathering over in Omaha where we first met.
Well, when we decided that we were going to try the LCMC, synod, they were having a synod meeting over there in Omaha. And we'd never went to anything like that before, but we decided, well, it was myself and my wife and Russ, my youngest son, and Lynn Johnson and Randy Lewis. And we all drove over there, and of course it took about, I don't know, probably about 4 hours to drive from Fairfield over to Omaha. And when we got over there, one of the first things that we kind of recognized was, boy, what a group of friendly people. And they were all very helpful. We told them that we were from Fairfield and we were starting up a new church, and they were just gave us a lot of good information, and they were just very helpful. And so then we, while we were there, well, we attended the services that they had there. And originally, with our old church, it was more of a traditional service, which is what we like. But there was, when you go to the LCMC, there's more contemporary styles of service. And we decided, well, we went along with that, and we decided, well, that's not too bad either. So you kind of get the flavor of both traditional and contemporary. And one good thing about the LCMC is that you can, you can have any kind of service that you would like. Now, like I say, with us, we like our mainly traditional, but we've interjected a lot of contemporary into it. And with our church, we have so many young people, and the young people, they like the contemporary, and us older people, we just go along with it. It's not that bad. So, but no, the conference was really educational. And another thing, just like when we got back here, well, our church is growing very well, and we were needing more hymnals, and we we're using the green hymnals, and well, we didn't have enough, and so Pastor Jamie said to email this secretary at the LCMC, and we did. I did, and got back just responses. I bet I got back 25 different responses for the hymnals, and anyway, that our need was fulfilled on that. Another thing that I recognized when people were offering hymnals was a lot of people that were starting up with the LCMC, and they didn't know how to actually get a church started, and they were doing basically the same thing we were. They decided to leave the ELCA, and they were having trouble finding places to meet. They were meeting in libraries like we did, vacant store buildings. There was one that was meeting at the undertaker's place of business, and I know there's a lot of people that they would like to be in the LCMC, and one of their biggest holdbacks is that once they've decided to leave, well, how do we afford a minister and a church, a building, and but as we can attribute, God will provide.
For those of you who are unaware, LCMC stands for Lutheran Congregations in Mission for Christ. You can check it out at lcmc.net. The LCMC is an association of churches. It has now reached well over 500 churches. It's gained about 300 in the last year, and there's 14 countries nationwide represented in the LCMC. At the time that I met Larry and his wife and his son Russ at the leadership conference in Omaha, I was helping Reverend Dr. Paul Spalding, who's the director of pastoral certification for the LCMC, plant a church in downtown Minneapolis. We had all attended a luncheon for mission churches, and that's where I met Russ. And Fairfield, when Russ mentioned Fairfield, it appealed to me because I was born in Davis County Hospital in Bloomfield, Iowa, not far from here. And Russ and I struck up a conversation, and lo and behold, a couple months later, my wife and I moved down here. And here we are, serving the congregation. And we haven't even been a congregation for a year, like I said. And the congregation has grown from 67 people to last weekend we had over 157 attend. We've already outgrown the sanctuary. So when you step out in faith and when you stand on the Scripture as authority and be faithful to God, He's faithful back and gives us everything that we need. We've not wanted for anything. Our building looks like an old barn from the outside, but it's extravagant inside. We have a full gymnasium where we have dances and we have potlucks and we have a big jump around for the kids, and we just have a heck of a time. It's a good time. One of the first things I noticed when I came to town is one of the churches that Everett's ancestors started, New Sweden United Methodist Church, one of the oldest churches this side of the Mississippi, had been struck by lightning and it burnt to the ground. I decided that we needed to throw a benefit for that. And before it was all said and done, in 2 months' time, we got together 14 congregations in town to pool their resources to have a hog roast and a benefit auction, and we raised pretty close to $12,000 cash for that congregation. That's kind of what got our name on the map. That's what got people talking about us. George, you and your wife Bev are pretty active in the church, and you've been pretty active in a lot of the construction going on. What types of projects, construction-wise, have they done here at the church?
Well, we've done a lot of littler things, and we've just got another Sunday school room in the back there, and we've got it all ready to paint now, and we'll have that finished here in a few days. And of course, we've got a multiple of different things we need to do, but most of them are little. The money's the big thing. We've got. I come up with this bright idea, or the Lord and I come up with it yesterday and the day before, that we need a double door in the back. We've got an overhead garage door there now, and every time you open it up, it lets in a whole bunch of cold air, and it don't work at all good. The door does, but it don't work for the people. So I got the idea, and I don't know if it's going to develop or not. I just told someone this morning. But to put a double door, a swinging double door like it's on the front of the church back there, and we will, I think I can gather up enough support. It's going to cost some money, but we're not going to take it out of the treasure of the church. We could use that maybe for more important things or for other things that need to be paid. And I'm going to try to gather up about 8 or 10 guys, and it won't cost none of us over maybe $200 a piece. And we're going to see if we can work this out where we can get a double door there and get rid of the garage door. And it'll make the appearance of the church look more appropriate, and it's going to help us out in many ways, and possibly it won't cost anything as of such yet.
I'm just going to say that there's a lot of projects that need to be done all the time, and we've got such a great bunch of people to help out with the labor and the ideas, and we'd like to turn that gym into that's going to be a big asset for us someday, with the dances and all the potlucks and all the different programs that have been going on, and we just feel very blessed over this whole thing.
I agree with you, Larry. I'm the only one that's an employee here. Our whole secretarial staff, all volunteer. All the things that are done around here, we had to pour a new entryway. We had to dig up the septic tank. We had to lay gravel on the parking lot, which we've already outgrown. All of those things, and repair the roof, all those things are done by volunteer labor. We have so many willing hearts. It's unbelievable. We don't have to ask. We don't have to get a sign-up sheet. We don't have to guilt or force anybody into it. They just show up. This last Saturday, we had planned to throw a birthday party for my 4-year-old, Gabriella, and we were also going to do an all-church potluck in the gym. Now, I didn't know how in the world that Zandy and I were going to get enough tables and chairs set up. Well, earlier in the week, Larry and his wife, Judy, and his brother-in-law, Gary, and his wife, Judy, came in and set the whole thing up for us. And then when it was time to tear down, we had more than enough hands to tear down. We never need for labor around here. We have so many servants' hearts. It's just amazing that the Spirit has to be present. And that's our main goal at Word of Life Lutheran Church, is to love and serve our neighbor, regardless of deserving it, regardless of anything, regardless of faith. We want to love and serve our neighbors.
You have to be a friendly church, and friendliness is just part of this church's
Personality. Yeah. Yep.
But I've just heard that from so many different people, and every Sunday we notice new people coming in, and we just want to keep expanding that. We're such a blessed church to have all the young people too, because it's the young people that will make the history of your church, and we have so many. Just like the little kids up here for the children's time. I think last week, I think we counted like 32, just the little kids, and that's the future of your church, is the young people, and we're just very blessed already.
That's very true, Larry. That you can tell the health of a congregation according to all the mission classes that I just spent at Luther Seminary learning by the number of children. And in a town of about 9,000 people, we have 53 children under the age of 6th grade. It's probably the most anywhere in town. And that seems to be what's attracting a lot of people. Younger families want to go where there's children, and their children aren't the only children. And so that really forces us to move out of our comfort zone into more Christian education. So, part of our serving heart is we've just had so many Christian ed teachers or Sunday school teachers step up to the plate that have never stepped up before. Our church council is a great mix of people from all occupations and all ages. We just are a great homogeneous mix, and it's just fantastic. Everett, tell me, you've been around churches for quite a while. What do you see this church, or what advice do you have to give to future people in this congregation?
Well, just keep on being friendly, and I'm sure that there will always be a crowd here. It seems like there's room for more, and if we get too full, we'll make more room.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a charter member of a church that my son-in-law, David Master, started out in Phoenix. And I was out there for 9 years, and we saw that church grow from nothing to a fully built church. He built it right from the ground up and started a congregation there. And that was a great experience that my wife and I had, was living out there and being with them and starting that church. It wasn't long until they soon got a promotion and was moved out to California to start another church that was on the down tread out there. So that set us out there without having them as our relatives, and we moved back to Fairfield to be with our relatives back here. At the same time, Dennis and Carolyn, they wanted to come back here too to be with our relatives, and so we all moved back to Fairfield then, and back to the same church that we had been in before. I've moved around quite a lot in my time, and I'm getting a little too old to to move much more, but this will probably be my last move.
How old are you, Everett?
I'm 94 now. I'll be
94.
95 in August. So I have a little problem trying to remember everybody's name, but it seems like everybody knows me.
We have with us now Jason Strong, who's our technical guy. He does all the filming and the camera and the sound work here at the church. And Jason wasn't a member of the original congregation that broke away. He's kind of came from another place. So, Jason, tell us about your experience here at Word of Life Lutheran Church.
Well, my experience here has pretty much been, I came out of a place, my home church of 15 years, and ended up just being really burnt out, not being fed. So I basically took a year break, and still stayed in the Word. Was still worshiping God on my own. And my wife, being part of the original church, was part of the part that broke away, and just decided in my prayer time that it's time to get off my butt. It's time to keep moving forward. This is the place where I felt God was leading me to, and sure enough, I show up in the door. I'm met with open arms, friendly faces, and God had already provided a job for me to do and a need to be filled. And it just seemed like at that point in time, I was the only person that had the skills to fill it, and so it was just really amazing how everything clicked together in that. One of the best things I love about this church is the people are real. You don't have to worry about people, putting on their quote-unquote Sunday best or their smiling face and everything's cool and everything's all right, every Sunday that you come in. When these people smile at you, when they greet you, it's a genuine smile. They want to know how you're doing, and they want to have that relationship with you. So I think just that realism is something that not every church, unfortunately, has, but this church has definitely got hammered down.
Well, that's awesome, Jason. And, you're very talented, and all your talents come in very handy here, especially with the Narrow Path and with making the videos and the backgrounds for our songs so we don't have to use the hymnals, or we can get our contemporary words up on the screen. Jason, you own a place called Strong Studios, and your studios, of course, do all the production and so forth for us here at the church. Tell us about the kind of services that Strong Studios offers.
Right now, the main bulk of it is doing conceptual art and graphic design, doing business logos, flyers, posters. I've done a couple of small-time CD labels for smaller groups here in town. Right now, I'm expanding it to do more of the video production and different things like that, which seems to be more where everything's turning anyway. So, but it's been really unique. It's a different place to do it here in Fairfield. There's, of course, you got the college north of town, so you've got a lot of people going into graphics out there and whatnot. The biggest hurdle that we probably have to overcome with that is, not having a formal training. I'm all self-taught and all that stuff, but in a small town, that can actually work to your advantage. So.
Jason also works for FPAC, Fairfield Area Public Access, the local TV station in which the Narrow Path airs, as well as all our Sunday sermons. Well, we're on a shoestring budget here, so if you'd like to help support the Narrow Path, please send your contributions. Make checks payable to Word of Life Lutheran Church. Mail them to the Narrow Path in care of Word of Life Lutheran Church, P.O. Box 27, Fairfield, Iowa, 52556. We have Bible study here for those of you who are local. Sunday mornings at 9:15 we're studying the book of Galatians, and Tuesday evening at 6:30 we're studying the Gospel of John. All are welcome regardless of denomination or background. Please join us. And stay tuned for more episodes of the Narrow Path, and thank you for joining us.